What is going on, everyone? Today I wanted to do a little flashback to the past because in my last video it was a bit depressing. I talked about how films like Tenet are probably not going to come out this summer, and 2020 as a whole has just been terrible. We're probably not going to get any summer blockbusters when the best summer blockbuster you get in a year is Artemis Fowl. That's a major problem. So instead of talking about really negative things today, why don't I just talk about old summer blockbusters? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the year 2000, give my very best summer blockbuster of that summer, and then go all the way to 2019. This was an extremely difficult list to put together. Every single summer has put together great movie after great movie, so imagine how difficult it was for me to just pick one favorite from each summer. I did it somehow, and I don't know how exactly that happened, but yeah, I got through it. So let's start off with the year 2000 and that summer's best blockbuster. For summer of 2000, the blockbuster I chose is Gladiator. How could I not choose Gladiator? This is the kind of film you cannot pass up on. It has excellent performances from Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix playing a really different character than the kind of character he plays in Joker. The cinematography, the set design, the action, it's all so much fun. Gladiator is about as epic as a movie can get. Summer 2001, I chose Shrek. This was not the best summer for movies, but out of them all, I thought Shrek was the best, and here it makes the most sense. The voice acting, Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz, they did such an awesome job with the characters of Shrek, Fiona, Donkey. Everybody is just so good in this movie with the voice acting. While I do like Shrek 2 better than Shrek 1, the first film did do a really good job in introducing this world as well as the characters. It's still pretty funny. It has a lot of original humor, and the story itself is also very unique. 2002, this was a no-brainer for me. I picked SpiderMan. I already have a review on the film SpiderMan. If you have not seen that review yet, I will leave a link down in the description below so you can go watch my review for SpiderMan back in 2002. Summer 2003, the best blockbuster in my opinion is Finding Nemo. If you're not aware of this already, I love Pixar, and Finding Nemo is absolutely one of the best Pixar movies to date. I also really like all movies that take place in the ocean, and Finding Nemo does that at the very best. This is probably the best you could ever get for an animated ocean movie. This film has a huge adventure to offer. The characters are so colorful. This movie's animation is gorgeous. I absolutely adore Finding Nemo. This is a great Pixar film. 2004, another no-brainer. Without question, I'm choosing Spider-Man 2. I do love the first Spider-Man, but Spider-Man 2 might be even better. This is a perfect superhero movie in my opinion. The character development is on point, the cast is great. Tobey Maguire, James Franco, Kirsten Dunst, and so many others. Everyone is at their very best. The storytelling is excellent, the action is great. Spider-Man 2 has so much to offer to not only superhero fans, but just movie fans in general. This is nearly a perfect movie. 2005, a lot of people will hate me for this, but I'm picking Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. I've talked about this multiple times already, but if you did not know, I think Episode 3 is a great movie. It might just be my favorite Star Wars movie to date, which is weird. I always do find it hard to rank this movie above the first two original trilogy movies, so I'm always kind of back and forth with that, but still, Revenge of the Sith, even though it does have some very obvious and clear problems, the action is great. This is the best Star Wars story out of them all. Revenge of the Sith, while it's a flawed Star Wars movie, it's one that I love a lot, and it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Summer 2006, I'm picking Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest. I wanted to make Monster House my selection for summer 2006, but that's not necessarily a blockbuster because it made under $200 million that summer. So instead, I decided to go with Dead Man's Chest. To this day, I am very confused why people hate every Pirates of the Caribbean movie that's not the first one. All five, I think, are solid. The last two, yeah, they're not as great, but they're still watchable. The first three, I think, at the very worst, are good. And Dead Man's Chest is a good follow-up to the first film, The Curse of the Black Pearl, plus it takes the story into an epic direction that the first film never necessarily veered into. So I do like this movie a lot. I think it's very underrated. 2007 was a little tougher. There are so many good choices. I was thinking maybe Superbad, Ratatouille. I even thought about Spider-Man 3. But I opted for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. As much as I get annoyed at some of the storytelling in Order of the Phoenix, this is the Harry Potter movie where we first see everything turn darker, and that's for the best. And you can't deny how awesome the ending of Order of the Phoenix is. You have this wizarding war going on between our main characters and the antagonists, as well as Dumbledore versus Voldemort. Who would not want to see that? 2008 is another obvious choice. I had to go with The Dark Knight. I was thinking maybe either WALL-E or Iron Man, but The Dark Knight had to be the one. The Dark Knight is exactly what the title says. It's a dark look at the character of Batman, but also is an epic one and beautifully directed by Christopher Nolan. This might just be his most perfect film out of all of them, and Christopher Nolan is a great director. All of his movies are extremely good, so that's saying a lot. The Dark Knight is probably the best superhero movie ever made, and it has so much to offer to everyone. I think this movie is so much fun. It's exhilarating. It's epic. I think Christian Bale is perfect as Batman / Bruce Wayne. The Dark Knight is a great movie. 2009 is another tough year for myself. Inglourious Basterds came out in summer 2009, but I ultimately went with Up. Up might have one of the saddest openings of all time, but the rest of the film is joyous. It's wonderful to watch. It's a movie for everyone, the entire family to enjoy. Just like Finding Nemo and WALL-E, it's heartwarming and colorful. I also love the relationship between Mr. Fredricksen and Russell, and the villain in this film. Talk about great villains. Pixar does have a lot of really good villains, but the villain we get in Up might just be the best after Syndrome. Summer 2010 is Inception. I'm sorry, Toy Story 3 fans, but Inception is the movie for me that summer. And later this week, I will have a very special video coming out talking about Inception's 10th anniversary. I cannot believe it's already been 10 years since this movie came out, so get ready for that video coming out later this week. Let's move on to 2011. Summer 2011 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is my second favorite Harry Potter movie right after The Goblet of Fire, and there's many reasons for why I think this is one of the best movies that has come out in the last decade. It is the idealistic conclusion to the Harry Potter franchise. There is no other way I could have ever imagined this 8-film franchise ending. This is absolutely the best way it could have been done. I just love how Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows ends Harry Potter's story as well as the rest of his friends. It is an excellent ending to the franchise. For summer 2012, I'm choosing The Dark Knight Rises. Currently speaking, out of the 3 Dark Knight movies, this is my least favorite. That's mostly due to how this film's plot is a bit more convoluted, and you also do have those really annoying plot holes that are here in The Dark Knight Rises. But that's not to say this movie is not an epic masterpiece, because the last hour of The Dark Knight Rises could very well be better than Inception's final hour. That's how good the ending of The Dark Knight Rises is. Summer 2013, I opted to go with Star Trek Into Darkness, a movie that I feel is better than its predecessor, Star Trek from 2009. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Star Trek film, but when this film came out in 2013, this was the Star Trek film that got me glued to this franchise, and I'm so sad that there will never probably be another Star Trek movie like these with Chris Pine as Captain Kirk, as well as Zachary Quinto and the rest of the cast. I absolutely love this franchise for what it has become, but I don't know if we'll ever get another movie with this cast. Nevertheless, Star Trek Into Darkness offers a lot of surprises. There's so much excitement. This movie is really fast-paced. Oh, and Benedict Cumberbatch is in this movie. Had no clue who the guy was before I watched this, and after watching it, I was like, that guy is one of my favorite actors working today. And he's also so much better than the guy in the first Star Trek movie. Who the heck was he? 2014, this was extremely difficult, but I had to go with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes over that of Godzilla. I may like Godzilla a little bit better. I think it's one of the best monster movies of all time. But Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is the best Planet of the Apes movie ever made, in my opinion. You don't reach this level of intensity in the rest of the Planet of the Apes movies. And not only that, but this film's storytelling is a lot better than the first film and the third film. And for me, this movie feels more like a conclusion than that of War of the Planet of the Apes, which is saying a lot because War and Rise are both pretty good movies too. But Dawn is the best out of the bunch. And this film has the craziest scene out of all the Planet of the Apes films. I think Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a masterpiece. Speaking of masterpieces, summer 2015, the blockbuster I'm choosing is Mad Max Fury Road. The use of practical effects is at an all-time high in Fury Road. This movie looks beautiful. The cinematography is some of the best I've ever seen. I want to go back, watch this movie in IMAX 3D. That's how good this movie looks. The story is a bit lacking in my opinion, but at the same time, the action makes up for every flaw this movie has. I think Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron are a great duo, probably the best duo in the year of 2015 for all film. Mad Max Fury Road is a blast from beginning to end. If you're an action buff, this is a must-see. Let's get a little controversial. Summer 2016, I'm going with X-Men Apocalypse. I could have gone with movies like Captain America Civil War, Finding Dory, Star Trek Beyond, or even The Nice Guys, but nope, for me, it's X-Men Apocalypse. That very well could change upon my next viewing, but for right now, I think Apocalypse is a damn good movie. If you don't like this movie, that's fine. But for myself, I think this movie is thrilling, it's epic, it's action-packed, the characters are so good, the performances as well. This movie has a lot of surprises. The villain, played by Oscar Isaac, I think is really good. I understand why people don't like Apocalypse more than that of First Class, Days of Future Past, Logan, and some of the other films. But at the same time, if you go back and watch this movie again, you might be in for a surprise. I certainly was the first time I watched Apocalypse. I find Apocalypse very underrated. If you saw this movie the first time and never watched it again, thought it sucked, I do recommend you go back and watch it, give it a second chance, because it's really not that bad of a movie. Doing this list also kind of makes me upset because Disney now owns X-Men, and just like Star Trek, the same goes for the X-Men franchise, where we're probably not going to get any more movies with these characters and this storytelling. That really is unfortunate, but at least we have this movie and the rest of the good X-Men films. 2017 was an excellent year for film, filled with great movie after great movie, but my choice here is Baby Driver. I want to mention as well that Baby Driver was my favorite movie in 2017, and to this day, it's still my favorite movie from that year. Baby Driver is one of the best action movies ever made. It has likable characters, a good story, incredible car chase scenes. I mean, I have no idea how they pulled this movie off, but Edgar Wright solidified himself as an action movie director. The guy knows how to pretty much do anything. I want to see this dude do like a sci-fi movie or something that's like a romantic comedy. Just anything, I'll give this guy. He is so good at directing, and Baby Driver is one of his best films to this day. Would you look at that? An even better action movie is 2018's Mission Impossible Fallout. Like Baby Driver in 2017, this was my favorite movie from 2018. The action, man. How the heck does Tom Cruise and everyone behind the scenes, Christopher McQuarrie, the director, how the heck do they pull these scenes off? The practical effects used in these films is unreal. I'm not the biggest fan of the first 5 Mission Impossible movies, but after watching Mission Impossible Fallout, this again was the film that got me on board with the Mission Impossible franchise. I cannot wait for Mission Impossible 7 and 8. Screw you, coronavirus. I hope those movies come out sooner rather than later. Finally, summer 2019, I was not the biggest fan of last year for movies. A lot of people last summer would have probably chosen movies like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. But my favorite movie from last summer is Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, with SpiderMan Far From Home coming in second place. The Fast and Furious film franchise is about as ridiculous as a franchise could ever get for movies, but Hobbs and Shaw was the first Fast and Furious movie I watched and said to myself, I could see myself watching that movie again and again and never get bored. The story is kind of iffy for me, but the rest of the film, with the action, the sound effects, The Rock and Jason Statham, their companionship in this film, being that great duo who takes down Idris Elba, it's just so awesome. This is one of those movies you'll look back on and say, man, these guys were probably smoking so much different stuff when they made it, but it's a cool movie to watch. You can't complain about that. Alright, and there you guys have it. Those are my choices for the very best summer blockbusters from the years 2000 to 2019. If you guys also have a list of your own, be sure to let me know down below in the comment section what that list is. As always, guys, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also, I never mentioned this. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's the same name, Sven Soli, spelled the same exact way. So go ahead and do so, because I also do a lot of movie content on there with my stories. So go check it out. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.